You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your chunk.
I'm Doge, and wow. What? That's better than middle school. They kiss again. That's because I know what I'm doing now. They kiss and embrace. Ha! And no braces either. She giggles. They kiss. The train lurches. She giggles again. They kiss. He removes his jacket. They kiss more passionately. He lifts her up for her to straddle him as he sits. They kiss some more. We should get some chunk.
Golly.
And I'm Carter. And chunk needs to be earned.
What needs to be earned?
Nice.
Hunk needs to be earned.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Wow.
Little switch up. Why?
Why are you the hunk?
I got back from Disney. I just got back from Disney.
What was your
Wow.
favorite part?
The one with the magic.
Yeah,
Was my favorite.
You got
Yeah,
back
dude.
from Disney in the time that we took a bathroom break?
Yeah.
Wow, dude,
that's what I
crazy.
call the bathroom.
Yeah.
Disney.
Disney.
The Magic Stinkdom.
Yes. Epcot, more like.
Ep bottom.
Dang.
Nice, guys.
Got him with that
Nice,
bottom.
guys.
More like wipe cot.
That'll work.
Not very much. Hollywood Pudios.
Oh,
Yeah, dude.
that's
yeah,
great.
dude. Yeah, so good.
Animal Stinkdom. It's just,
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
dude. Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude.
hey, more like Tragic Stinkdom. Because it's...
You know what
More
Disney
like-
World
more
felt like to me?
More like Donald Yuck.
Ew.
I'm trying to make Goofy into Poopy, and it's not really working for me.
It's pretty, yeah.
King...
More like, hey guys, Daisy.
Sticky Mouse. Sticky Mouse.
More like Daisy Yuck.
You
You can't just do the same thing twice.
speak twice.
More like Clarabelle.
Winnie the Poop.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
the one. That's the.
guys,
I mean, that's sort of
guys.
low-hanging fruit right there.
Man,
Or
guys.
Tinkerbell.
Subscribe, 5 stars, please.
Tinkerbell.
Oh,
Peter Pan
guys.
can stay the same.
Yeah, it's just a...
This is it. This is how we get those 5-star reviews we've been wanting.
Ooh.
Wow, what a good opener.
Bluto.
Hey, bleep me out when I say this. Do we have a bleep sound?
That's amazing.
I'll let people's minds wander.
That's so funny. You know what feels a lot like Disney World, though?
What?
It was as if now I've never experienced this myself. I know someone who has.
Okay.
But imagine a car going full speed and I'm just laying on the windshield. Is that a
Yeah.
good enough transition for you?
Yeah, that'll work. Sort of a hard left, which actually would have killed Taylor Lautner's character.
Dump bow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
dude. Yeah, dude.
Pinocchio.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, okay.
Let's keep doing this.
I'd rather do that. Okay.
Geppetto.
Yeah.
No, that's not too good.
No, we'll take it.
We'll go.
We'll take it.
Sorry, I'm done.
Poofasa.
I can't do that one.
Just one long bleep. Just one long bleep. Do we have a bleep sound? We
Yeah.
do. Okay. We're good. That's so funny. Just one. It's more fun to let people imagine what might have been said just then.
Right.
Oh, that's so good.
I love that we're kind of continuing our new rebranding where the blue collar
We're just the
podcast
nasty.
tour.
Right.
We're
Why?
just nasty podcasters.
It really does feel like we have a different vibe during the time of day.
Yeah.
Have we
100%.
been morning recorders before like this? Like early morning?
Not this early.
Yeah.
But
But
this is usually the time when we record right
Mo-
now.
morning is
Yeah.
my favorite time to do creative stuff. Like
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
stuff like this, I feel like my brain's firing on.
Absolutely.
How many cylinders? does the
Evening,
brain
we're
have?
just
4?
terrified.
All of How many
because
cylinders do
you're-
car engines have? That's a good question.
Hey, what's a cylinder in
Better
a car?
question.
I don't
Should
know.
they fire?
Should they? Do
Best
we want to be
question
firing
possible.
on all cylinders? What's a piston?
Who knows? But that's a good Disney bathroom joke.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Cars actually did that one
They
already.
did that
though.
one. But we're not talking about cars and we're not talking about the Magic
We're
Stinkdom.
kind of talking about cars.
Well,
Opening scene of the movie we're talking about today, which of course is Abduction.
I'm not used to having such a short title.
I know.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Feels like there should
We've
be
had
more.
so many, like colon, 3D,
Right.
colon,
or
Part 2.
for our friends across the pond kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's,
Forgot about that. That was a
actually
good
a
one.
really short title for us.
Well, and it's a short title, but it is part of something much bigger. And that is, of course, thanks a lot, the life and times of karate legend and Burgermaster Taylor Lautner.
Yeah.
The big BK boy himself.
So I think we established that Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I don't know that we really touched on this in the episode, but that fulfills stage 1 of Taylor's Pokemon evolution.
Exactly. Yeah.
Karate.
Yeah.
Taylor.
Kara Taylor. That's his Pokemon
Which is the
form
Pokemon that you get from
time.
Oak.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
It's one of the
Yeah.
3 that you can pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Pikachu, Squirtle, Karate.
And in this world, much like Pokemon Yellow, it's the only Pokemon that you can get.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Karate Taylor, and he follows you around everywhere, and he karate chops things.
Yeah.
So that- yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Or he says, dream.
Dream.
But it's more like Taylor, like a vocal fry. Like
Yeah.
dream.
Dream. And one of his like strongest moves is sing song, and it terrifies his villains into submission.
Yeah.
So so we
He
got our
just
first.
sways back and forth.
Dream.
We got our first Pokemon evolution, and it's time to talk about the second Pokemon evolution, which is of course Wapner,
Yes.
the burger form.
The burger form of
He's bigger now. It's really much
He's
like
bigger now, got some more meat on his bones.
it's kind of like Machop to Machoke right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
You know how it is?
Yeah, and we're waiting for that champ. But the big thing that we're going to talk about during this movie is this movie, and it's going to start
fair
with
enough.
Doge
Very clever.
tossing us a quick synopsis.
Hey, can you make sure and include the part about the abduction though in the synopsis?
Yeah, talk about the abduction that happens in this movie.
If you would.
Make sure that you talk about, make sure you talk about the namesake of this movie.
Okay. All right. In the movie Abduction, Taylor Lautner.
Boo.
Taylor Lautner plays a high school student named Nathan, last name, and
Is it Nathan?
Yeah, it is. His world starts to kind of go awry whenever he finds a picture of himself as a kid on a missing children's database. Picture database.
There it is.
I messed up. Not good at words today.
Internet Missing Picture Database.
Internet-
IMPD.
On IMPD, he finds himself as a baby, aged up to look like a rubber doll.
Not quite like him.
So this kickstarts kind of a big conspiracy where he has to get to the bottom and figure out who has been raising him, who are these people that he lives in their house, and what happened to his real family, who
And most
abducted
importantly,
him.
why is Ridley from Alien there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Good grief.
Along the way, he accidentally, and it is a consensual abduction, but an abduction nonetheless, of his neighbor across the street, played by Phil Collins' daughter. And they fall in love.
And boy, is it coming in the air tonight.
Golly.
I could feel it.
And that's Abduction.
That is abduction, huh?
Yeah. No,
So we open with Taylor laying on the front of a car, just, how kids do.
I feel like he can't just let loose. Maybe that's one of his problems in acting.
He's a thrill seeker.
Do you think he's always is it A, impossible for him to be animated? Like truly animated, or B, is he too worried about how he looks? So he won't go full.
I think that's
full
giving him a
animated.
lot of awareness.
Yeah,
that I don't think he
ascribe
has.
motive.
I don't want to project awareness onto.
I
this
know that he is a bad
piece of
actor.
driftwood.
Spoiler for you guys, just for the course of this discussion, I'm probably going to disagree with most things that you say.
Whoa.
Because right off the bat, I have to tell you, I don't think this movie is as bad as people say it is.
Okay.
Interesting. I think that we might all be surprised by some things that all of us have to say,
Okay.
but there's reasoning behind a lot of them, I think,
Great.
for all of us.
Okay. Good. So they're on the way to that crazy party, yeah?
Yeah, and it's not that crazy, to be honest with you.
Big pump on whenever they stop and Taylor front flips off the front of the car.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I absolutely love it.
He probably did it for real.
He did.
I bet he did.
And then they're in the backyard, and he sees eyebrows across the way, and he says, "Hey, eyebrows," and she's like, her boyfriend's like, "Keep walking, dork." Now, here's my thing. Even if we don't know he's a karate master, Taylor Lautner's not built like a stick, yeah?
And he's not a dork.
Why is he the dude that you're choosing to be like? So this falls into like a young adult trope that bothers me a lot, but it didn't bother me when I was a young adult. And that is like the nerd kid is like actually like the dark cool one with a hidden secret.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, those kids are popular.
Yeah.
That's the popular
That's not how
kid.
it works in real life.
Yeah. And so, anyway, he's like, get out of my way, dork. And he practically is holding a tennis racket with a sweater tied around his neck. Like, that's the character that this guy is playing, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And she whispers in his ear, which we find out later. She's basically like, yeah, he'll ruin you, so don't do this.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
And he's like, yeah, cool. And Nathan gets drunk
Yes.
Blackout, yeah.
and wakes up on the front lawn.
Shirtless.
No shirt. No shirt. There we go.
Real
That's-
quick.
You got to do it after Twilight.
That's a check mark in Taylor Bingo.
And here's one thing I noticed about him that doesn't surprise me at all. Taylor doesn't wear a belt.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like a belt.
Do you wear a
kinda
belt
guy,
with
does he?
jeans?
Big time.
Do you wear a belt with jeans?
yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no, I don't.
You don't?
I actually don't wear a belt with jeans.
Really?
Tell me more about how
Am I
you possess
weird?
this kind of self-confidence.
Yeah, what kind of confidence do you have that everything's going to stay where it needs to be? I'm a different size day to day. I need a belt.
I don't know. My wife would tell me I need to.
Do you, are you...
I don't think I've got a good enough belt to go with the jeans right now, to
Is
be
the
honest.
wagon
I
that
just
you're
have a dress
dragging-
belt.
Is your butt doing the work?
It is.
Okay.
It's holding it up
Yeah.
for sure.
Okay, that's good. Mine probably would.
I don't even put like a wallet in my back pocket. I rest it upon my left cheek as
Really?
I'm
Oh, wow.
walking.
Just set it
It's like
on
a
top,
shelf?
like a
Yeah.
table.
Yep, it's basically a shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
Sitting down must be torture for you.
Not really.
Just all squishing out.
Yeah, I can sit anywhere and it's like I'm on a beanbag.
It's like very comfortable.
I'm just gonna get real comfy right here.
And as you sit, it's just like,
Yeah, you got to readjust a little bit.
yeah.
Guys,
It's always
what a
good.
great direction for our podcast. Let's keep this potty humor
Butt talk.
coming.
I love
I
it.
know.
love it. It's so good.
I feel
Well-
deep down Dosh hates it.
Yeah. So Taylor wakes up, Nathan wakes up and helps to clean the front yard of this girl who's like, you gotta go. And he's like, no, I'll help. And he's like, but I gotta get out of here quick or else my dad. Oh no. It's like that instant that daddy pulls up in his car.
Pump on Jason Isaacs.
Didn't even realize it was him for a long
I
time.
pump on Jason Isaacs too. Have I told the story on the podcast about how he is very much a part of the only time I had my mouth washed out with soap? Okay.
Yes, you have.
Yep.
He was okay. Real quick
But for people who
recap.
may not have listened to Do You
Right,
Believe in
he
Magic?
was. I was watching The Patriot. It was the TV version. I never realized it was R because the only time I had ever seen it was like TNT. What a
Yeah.
TNT movie!
They know drama.
100%.
though,
They do know
is what
drama.
You have to give them credit.
Anyways,
Well, that's why they're
plays,
not on
he
USA,
plays a
'cause
pretty
characters
stinking
are only
good
welcome there.
villain,
Yeah.
meaning I hate him very much.
Right.
In The Patriot, and it was one of Mel Gibson's sons that he had killed at the time, and I just yelled out a cuss word at this man, and my parents were like, "What did you say?" And I was weeping, and I was trying to say, "But he killed his son," and then next thing you know, soap in my mouth.
Bar soap or liquid soap? We didn't cover this last time.
Bar soap.
Okay.
Ooh, can you imagine like the foaming liquid soap?
Irish,
but, like,
Irish Springs.
My family never had bar soap, so if it was going to happen, it would have been
Yeah, it
liquid
was
soap.
bar soap for sure.
Boy,
But
yeah,
it
yeah,
lasted 2 seconds. My mom couldn't do it.
She can handle it. That's
'Cause I was
sweet.
just
like a
like-
Christmas story.
I gag a little bit. She's like, okay, I hope you've learned your lesson. And I agree with you. He's a
So they go to the backyard, and then that's when dad and son beat the life out of one
I don't
another.
mind this scene.
Pump.
I don't mind this scene.
Pump, big
So-
pump.
Out of context, it's wild.
Yeah.
Right? Once you realize, oh.
Yes.
So here's what I'm going to get out in front of this. 24-year-old Jordan doesn't really care for this movie. Like, really at all.
You're 24.
Somewhere,
Are you 24?
Yeah.
I turned 25 7 days after this episode comes out.
Well, no one can ever say we're just like a static group here.
Yeah. We're all over the place. Two of
Wow,
us the
that-
same
that
age and
makes-
one of us not.
That's amazing.
But
Go ahead.
somewhere inside of me, there's a 14-year-old boy who is reading this as a novel in bed after I'm supposed to be asleep. And I'm just like, oh, I'm just digging this so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, it lacks in a lot of ways anything I would want to read. But this beginning of like misunderstood cool kid fights with his dad in the backyard and everybody thinks that's weird, but really he's being secretly trained to protect himself for when everything hits the fan. Oh, that's what I'm about, dude.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills as you're describing that because that is such a great premise.
I used to read a series of books called Alex Rider.
Yes.
And it's literally about a British teenage spy who like MI6 is like, we've been training you since birth. You didn't know. Come join us. And he's like, okay. And that was like my
that's
jam as a kid.
We've been training you since birth, governor.
Oi, Pip, come join us. Oi, we've been training you since birth.
Fish and chips, fish and chips. Like that's all they say.
But like this is that, but worse.
I think I liked it. I pump on it too, but I dump on the verbal lesson to learn. I wish we would have said more than think, right? It's like that's the thing that comes in his head later is just think. It's like, well, that's kind of lazy writing to me.
Well, but if they had just taken it a step further and instead of think said like there are bigger people than you, there are stronger people than you, there are faster people than you, but you can always try and be smarter than everybody you fight.
Right.
So think, if that was what it was, and then all of a sudden it was like think was what it was boiled down to, I'm in. But from the beginning it was just
what
like
is,
think with your brain parts.
Obi-Wan saying in Luke's head? Like, what is it's like a consistent...
You're talking about the part where he's like...
Is he just saying use the Force?
It's me, Obi-Wan. I've just been wondering, how are you doing? I haven't seen you since my untimely death at the hands of your father.
I mean, not your father.
I mean, did I say that too early?
I mean, he killed your father.
I mean, I don't understand why I lied to
What
you.
if it was in his head for
place.
such trivial stuff, too? He's like, I would go with the soup, to be honest. It's more affordable and you don't have as many.
I've eaten here before.
If he's just Jiminy
It's
Cricket,
me, Obi-Wan.
it's me, Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Of course, I know him. He's me.
He's me.
I don't even remember what your question
An
was, to be
elegant
honest.
soup for a more civilized age.
Oh, there wasn't a question. It was just they should have expanded a little bit more on that.
I agree
Instead of
with
just
you.
saying
I
think.
agree.
But
That's kind of lazy.
I dug it, man.
Yeah. And the fight was on, like the punches sounded heavy, which is big for me. Now, this is totally a product of the Bourne era. And it's an era bygone.
I was just about to say, like this, when I look back at this era of movies, every movie that every guy was like, yeah, dude, such a good movie, was just trying to be the Bourne conspiracy.
And I actually never heard anything
Have
about
we
this
talked
movie.
about, do y'all like the Bourne series?
No. Well,
No.
okay.
I mean,
Let me take that back. The original 3 are cool. I've realized that I'm not, if you're going to choreograph fights to the like extent where it's like an art form,
I want to see it.
stylize it out the wazoo. Do me like a John Wick Kingsman kind of deal.
Interesting, okay.
So I either want like highly stylized violence or like brutal,
you didn't like the
intense
camera-
bursts
the
of
camera
violence.
in that.
Yeah, I can't see what's
Yeah.
happening.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Shaky cam's a little
And I
intense
actually
on
feel
those
like
for
this
me.
didn't really do that too much. And so like in that sparring scene in the background, the punches felt heavy.
I loved
it was
that scene.
cool. Yeah, it was fun. I think that's a very worthy super pump.
It's
I would
followed
pump on
by a
that,
scene I hate.
which is I'm losing track.
Which
of this.
is
Hang
the...
on. You said a very worthy super pump? Not my super pump.
Oh, I thought you said it was your super pump.
No, I said I
No,
love
he
that
said
scene.
pump.
Okay, I pump on it though.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like I'm totally down for the respecting your parents' young love for each other. I don't need the butt grab of mom's butt when dad grabs her booty. I don't think
Booty.
so. I don't know if I need that.
I think that for me, it was just almost more like,
fine.
no, mom and dad. Like still
Yeah.
after all these years,
It was
still
sweet.
after
Like, so
it.
at this point, I was really in. Jess and I watched this last night. And like, this was such a fun watch for us because at this point, we're like, something is not right. We both knew nothing about this movie.
Okay.
We're like, something's not right. His dad's got to be training him for something. Like,
Yeah,
I bet
that's
those
good.
aren't his parents. Either they abducted him or he's in a witness protection house or something.
Yeah.
And so like all of this, we're like, yeah, like we were honestly eating it up and really loving it.
I definitely didn't get to that point. I was loving it through the lens of 14-year-old Jordan reading a
maybe,
novel.
Maybe that's what because I'm recognizing it's not good,
Right.
but it's fun.
I think somewhere in my head, I was loving a better version of it.
This movie
that make
made
sense?
this movie made $50 million. I mean, it
Well, it's because he had his
budget?
shirt off.
35.
Hey, that's not bad. But it definitely wasn't the train wreck that I remembered it being.
No.
But it's definitely not good.
Yeah, for sure. There's gonna be some parts that come up later
But I'd
that
say
are
it's a
collective
passable
super dump for
generic
me
action movie.
that take a lot away from it. But while I don't think it's his best performance, probably the most enjoyable movie I've seen with Taylor Lautner.
I would agree with that.
Ooh, Doja's being quiet. This is gonna be so fun. Okay. What is next?
After this,
Is that Forrest Whitaker's son? Gotta be. Whitaker is not a famous
no,
last name.
I think you're right.
Or
I think
it's
it
not
is.
a normal last name. Okay.
I think it is.
I tried to find that and I don't know why it was so
Doesn't
hard
he-
to find
he
that.
plays young Forrest Whitaker
Yeah.
in Black Panther.
He does.
Makes
Is that
sense.
why we think that?
Right?
Or are they
No,
actually related?
His last name is Whitaker. His name's Denzel Whitaker, right?
So it's definitely him, right?
Am I making that up?
No, you're not. What, you mean in the movie?
No.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I
the
know his
actor's
last name is Whitaker. That's
Yeah.
what I was saying.
I'm gonna look that up.
But in Black Panther, he plays young Forrest Whitaker. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Man, Forrest Whitaker's kind of coming back, huh? Dude's crushing it.
I dig him, man.
Yeah, I do too.
I have no idea if he's his son or not. It doesn't say
Right?
on IMDb,
But,
but
he looks so much like him.
he looks like him, and he played a young him.
Maybe that's why we're thinking
I
that.
can imagine Forrest being like, "Hey, I totally get it.
Paddle your own
You're
canoe.
gonna, yeah."
Yep.
Seems like that kind of guy.
I hear you.
Yep.
He was awful in this.
He wasn't good.
He was really bad.
He was. I mean,
He's
was
barely in it,
He was
but-
Lil Bow Wow, and
Yeah. Hey, this is the same director. It's Too Fast.
It is. It is the same director as Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep. But and there is that element of like he is not good, but like it really does feel young adulty. Like a young adult
for sure.
novel
That's
where
what
it's
you-
like,
Like
they
these kids are connected. He's got a hacker friend.
I know they got to go undercover. Go to the guy who gives out fake IDs in the high school.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
like
Totally.
I don't hate that.
Totally.
Like, that's kind of fun and kind of like okay, I get what they're going for.
Totally. Yeah, it's like young adult thrillers are kind of their own thing.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of separate from young adult fiction in this way of like young adult thrillers tend to be like literally just miniature adult thrillers.
Yeah.
Whereas young adult fiction kind of is its own category as well, where there tends to be like a lot of mentorship and guidance.
Hunger
Young adult
Games.
thrillers are typically kid out on their own, just like any adult thriller.
Kid Jason Bourne.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is literally, I mean, that is this movie
Yeah.
to a T.
which are y'all gonna watch Hannah?
I've heard cool things about it,
I have too.
but I don't know anything about
I
it.
think it's basically like that. Had you seen the movie Hannah?
No.
Oh, that's worth a watch. It really is.
Okay.
It's got a Snowpiercer vibe to me.
Oh, I love
Man,
Snowpiercer.
I love that movie.
That was a cool movie.
Oh yeah, you'll
Now,
need to
that's
see
a name
Hannah.
I've not heard in a long time.
Yeah, I'll definitely check
Cool,
that out.
okay.
Netflix? Isn't
No, it's Amazon Prime or something.
it? Oh, okay. Got both.
You've got it.
Whatevs.
I think we've all made it clear we have everything.
We've beaten that into the ground.
Not trying to brag.
Yeah, I'm
Spent a lot of money
at
on
all them
streaming
streaming
services.
whatever. I'm a big dum-dum. So anyway, so we end up getting paired with Eyebrows in a project. Yeah. And that project is sociology. So we're looking at missing kids. And that one looks like this guy mixed with this guy. That one
Love
looks like
that.
this guy mixed
Hump
with this
that.
guy.
That is so high
That guy looks
school.
like
I mean, I guess that was cringy for me. But
I
you're
kinda
right.
agree
That
with
is so high school. But oh my god, the subject matter is people. It's like
Yeah.
missing children.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
And it makes me not like. I think what I disliked about it most, because I do agree. And in the moment, I was like, okay, I was that jerk, right?
Yeah,
I did that
mean,
kind of
was
stuff.
Totally me.
But this would have been more of the chance for me to like root for them.
Yeah.
And I don't think that helped me root for them.
And there's just no point. I want to take a sidestep here. There's no point to her boyfriend. Like,
Nah.
why did she have to have? What was with that whole subplot? Of
Yeah.
like, and I get. In these movies, we want boyfriend that's not a good dude who it's like I could take you if I wanted to, but I'm not.
Makes a little bit more sense why he hasn't asked her out yet, I guess.
Maybe,
don't
but they're
know.
not
Yeah.
not even friends anymore, really, until they are. And so he's like, "That's me," and then he goes to her house.
Jaw muscles are he held on to that after
Full
Twilight.
He's
didn't he?
flexing.
Force. This
Flexing
is right
those
in
cheeks.
between Eclipse and Breaking Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he's filming this.
Really? I thought that this was filmed after Breaking Dawn.
Nope.
Because it was released between Breaking Dawn 1 and 2.
Nope, it was filmed right after Eclipse, and then he went and did because they filmed all of Breaking Dawn at once, like 1 and 2 at one time, Lord of the Rings style. They went
Yeah,
to New
but-
Zealand.
Okay. That timeline doesn't line up in my mind, but I
So
trust you.
he goes over to Eyebrow's house, and he's like, "It's me," and then the webcam turns on, and we see some dude like, "It's him. I found him. It's me, Megan." What?
Yeah.
So it's a little
Yeah.
convoluted, huh?
Did
Real
you know he
creepy.
spelled disappear wrong?
No.
Yeah.
No
One
way.
P.
Yeah, one S.
I think that...
Wait, that's right.
Yeah, it is. Right.
He
DIS.
did 2 S's, whatever
Oh, okay.
amount of S's. I spelled it wrong too. What a dummy. Me and Taylor, same guy.
Taylor kind
I
of
knew
has that vibe of like, what president, what was it? Ronald Reagan, where like who got out of office and he was like, what is this newfangled thing called a credit card? What president was that? You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? He has that vibe with computers because there's a point where he's on his laptop and I'm doing this on the table, just moving 2 fingers
To scroll.
And
Did
did
you notice?
And nothing's moving.
nothing's moving and like he's supposed to be like typing or something. He's not even looking at the screen. He's just flicking those 2 fingers
It's really
on the
bad.
trackpad.
It's
He
like
has
when
a
people-
laptop and a full-blown iMac 2 feet away from him on his desk.
Dude, who would have like a laptop or even 2 laptops and maybe even like a big computer that they edit stuff on? Who would
On
have it?
this mouse pad thing, I have, and it's going to be really hard because it's so obscure to find a movie where they did it well. I have never seen a movie that has any kind of video game scene
Yeah.
where they're not just pounding the controller.
Well, because actually playing video games looks boring because it's just
Right, but wouldn't most like
People would understand.
Yeah, there's enough people that play
Now,
video games that
okay.
are like, that's not like that.
Here's what I'll say on this kind of same subject, talking about technology. Something I admire about this movie, big pump from me. They didn't make up any dumb like hologram technology to make him look more like a spy. Like at no point was he like, I'll take this phone call on this tiny flash drive. Oh, what are you doing in my room? Like there was none of that.
yeah.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
Big
Help
fan.
me, Taylor Lautner.
I do
You're my
dump
only hope.
on.
Yeah.
I do dump. Now, it's assumed, well, it's not assumed. We've seen that he's been trained to fight.
Right.
But where did the training come to be so, like, under the radar?
What does that mean?
Like
we
like
gotta
on
get,
the run. Like,
gotta
why
get in the
is
river,
why is
they're
an
gonna track
18-year-old so good at being on the run from the CIA?
Yeah, that's a little funky. And
That's one of those. I feel like that's one of those things that you gotta ignore because it's a young adult thriller.
No,
though.
I disagree. I'm not going to ignore it because I think that there's ways to do it well. I think there are.
Whoa.
And I do agree with you. I get the fighting training, and I even get the like control your mind thing because his counselor was in on
Yeah.
it too, and that's cool.
And I
but
gotta
like,
say-
why is he good at like? I don't know. Like,
Yeah. When they just had
Blending
the
in.
disagreement right now, y'all couldn't be here for this, but I got to tell you, the tension in the room was so thick, you could cut it with a musical weapon.
a boom whacker straight through the center, straight through the heart of the thing. And so
Wait, how had y'all seen Abduction before?
No.
I did like when it came out.
Guys, what if we've only got one more chance in a movie? What if he goes to Burger King in one of these movies? Are you going to flip?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'm gonna be so excited.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so excited.
That would destroy me.
It would have to happen in this one though for it to be truly, truly fortunate. Because
Right.
this is in his Wapner stage.
See, I'm telling you, it's not about the actual Burger King. He's got more meat on his bones.
Yeah,
That's the
true.
big Whopper
He becomes
secret.
the big Whopper.
That's true.
He's a double meat patty now.
Sesame
really
seed
is.
bun, you know?
Yeah,
And he does. And
got
oh,
this-
he does. But
sesame seed, sesame likey.
Ew.
yikes.
Ew to so many parts of this.
So basically, spies come blow up his house. I'm trying to move past this, guys. Come on. Spies come blow up his house, right?
Yeah,
And
this is
kill
brutal.
parents.
That was
Spies
brutal.
kill parents. That was a lot. That was very sad. But here's my super dump for this whole movie. Because this moment represents the flaw in this whole movie, which is like, why'd you do that?
Yep,
And that is, there's a bomb in the oven.
Oh.
Hey guys, 2 questions. Why? Why timer? Those are my 2 questions. Why? Why timer? Because even if they didn't get knocked out, they would not have had time to get back out of that
It's
house.
pretty crazy though, because like it's a nice twist because you didn't think this was going to be the kind of movie that crosses like real world with Looney Tunes, like some other movies have.
Yeah.
But the fact that Wile E. Coyote was working for whatever,
Yeah, it might as well
It-
have said
it-
Acme across
didn't it
Why'd
look
you put it in the
so
oven?
cartoony?
Who had time to put it there? Because both of you have been fighting since you walked in the door.
I thought he was revealing to Taylor that your mom was also pregnant.
Oh, gotcha.
I really
That would
did.
have been wild.
Bomb in
Hey,
the oven.
But but here's the other thing. Thumbs down. My super dump includes whoever mixed the sound for this
Yeah, it's
movie.
not good.
It was the loudest explosion I've ever heard in a movie.
Wait, it was real, dude. It put you there.
My-
Put you visceral. It put you right in Taylor's abs.
my bookshelf rattled, and I'm pretty sure that my downstairs neighbors died.
Oh no.
Like it
well, there
was
was
just
a
like,
bomb in their oven.
You could always give that home to Bella and Edward if you
Nathan,
wanted.
just to let you know, there's a bomb in the oven. Like it was unbelievable.
It was pretty unbelievable. As unbelievable as the fact that Lily Collins is just sticking with him through all this stuff.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm out. And also, how
Oh,
convenient
show.
that her parents are out of town, so they don't have to care about this.
Yeah.
Well, you know where her dad is, though.
touring.
He's
with
in the air
Genesis.
tonight.
Yeah, he's touring around you.
So very good. I guess before we get on to literally
You know
the
what?
last 3/4 of this movie,
You know what? I
'cause
can feel coming in the air right now
this is my thing. Why are you going to steal this from me?
because I had a better transition, so I went with it. I'm
Shout announcement.
I can feel it shouting in the pod tonight. Here in Shout Announcements, want to give a quick shout out to Wax Space in Tyler Station. We in here, literally right now, inside recording things. Thank you for letting us use your space, eat your snacks, drink your coffee. If you're in the Dallas area and you need a place to work, check it out. It's a good time. Also want to say thank you to Podbean. We pay you money. We put stuff on you. Podbean.
Podbean. I'll catch that someday.
So we actually have had kind of a lack of response since the last time we recorded an
Yeah,
episode.
That's crazy.
We've been talking about it.
We recorded the last one a full 45 minutes ago.
I know, and nobody has shouted us out or anything.
What's wrong
so
with you guys?
I'm gonna do the first ever shame out on our podcast.
Okay.
We've tried positive reinforcement and it doesn't seem to be working.
So now we're going to rub your nose in it.
So now we're going to try negative reinforcement, and maybe 45 minutes from now, somebody will have said something nice about
Listen
us.
to the sound of the proverbial newspaper swinging towards
This
your
week's
ears.
shame out goes to my former friend Claire. Claire once told me,
So the world was gonna roll.
I ain't the sharpest tool. Claire once told me that our podcast is too long and it's about movies I haven't seen. So if you do Harry Potter, I'll listen. I promise.
How recently did she tell you this?
How long does she think podcasts are?
Claire told me this about 6 months ago. And then right after that, I texted her and said, hey, Claire, we're doing Harry Potter. Claire didn't listen.
Claire.
So
Claire.
she'll never even hear this.
So she doesn't even know she's getting a shame out this week. Don't be like Claire.
Shame.
Don't get a shame out.
Very good.
Something else that's happened, and listen, I get it, like there's down seasons, but you would think in the middle of a really riveting series right now that we would get more subscribers. We haven't since our last episode. And that's okay. Like, I'm not trying to get on to anybody.
Nobody subscribed since the last 45 minutes.
I mean, it's been nearly an hour.
If you guys can't hear the joke, we are recording like 4 things all at once in one sitting today. I want to be very clear about that.
Just so you guys know, we're still eating those dry donuts
From last week.
from about
If you
9
heard
days
us talk
ago.
about, they're just sitting here.
Still working on them.
Ew.
To you, they're 9 days old, but to us, they are literally hours.
To us, they have the
They might actually be 9
they have
days
the
old.
consistency of a microwave crouton. So we're loving them.
I do want to ask the two of you, literally though, how long do you think it would take to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast?
Total, 3 minutes.
If even, I'm gonna go 90 seconds.
Yeah. So
Get some fast
You've-
Wi-Fi, boy.
you do
Yeah,
have the
not trying
time
to
to do that. Actually, maybe during the shout announcements next time. You know, decide what you think about this episode.
This time, ignore the next
Do it
3
right
minutes
now.
of our podcast. It's not
Do it
really
now.
important anyway.
We'll be
Just do
quiet.
it.
We'll wait.
But
Just
shh,
insert
shh.
3. Insert 3 minutes of silence right here, Adam, for when you edit the episode. Don't tell the others that I'm.
Well, thank you guys so much for
Yeah, thanks,
subscribing.
guys. That was
I felt
awesome.
that.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And rating and reviewing. But outside of that, let's go abduct, you know?
We're back. So the thing that I want to talk about real fast is let's count the number of abductions that have happened in this movie so far.
1.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You
Are you
can't say
counting
that,
that?
him taking a friend with him somewhere is an abduction.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
He did not force her anywhere. It's not an abduction.
There's an attempted abduction by the CIA.
You gave me a ride here today. Did you abduct me from my home, Dosh?
It was a consensual abduction, but an abduction nonetheless.
Can somebody pull up the dictionary definition of abduction for
It's
me?
happening.
Okay, were
Right
you
now.
really on that?
The action or an instance of forcibly taking someone away against their will.
Uh-oh. 0 abductions.
Taylor was forcibly taken away from his comfortable life by the information that he learned he was abducted by the
No,
information
you
and the
can't
truth
do
about
that.
his family.
You can't do that.
The
There are no
movement
abductions.
of a limb or other part away from the midline of the body or from another part.
There are so many abductions in this movie.
Oh my gosh. So
So they're on the run.
yeah, Ridley from Alien.
Sigourney Weaver does a kind
Sorry,
of
Ripley from Alien.
Sigourney Weaver does kind of a bad job.
She
in
does
this.
kind of a bad job in
I
this.
mean, what is she given? Like,
Yeah, very little.
I just watched Cabin in the Woods for like the second time a couple days ago. First of all, the movie's awesome.
Yeah.
But she's in that one randomly for like a couple minutes.
she's in
And
a lot of sci-fi stuff. She's a voice of a spaceship in Wall-E.
Yeah.
Like,
Sigourney Weaver is
she's wonderful.
fantastic.
I love her.
She's the
Here,
sci-fi queen.
Kind of phoning it in a little bit.
I think so.
I think they used her as a big face.
Yep, 100%. But she's like, drive out this car. And they're like, no. And then she's like, oh, but for sure. And then they do, thankfully right by some bushes. And then she blows up. Or does she?
Mm-hmm.
And here, the diving feels like a natural diving board into my super pump. And my super pump, Carter, I'm going to speak directly to you when I say this. My super pump for abduction is Taylor Lautner.
Wait, you have 2 straight super pumps of Taylor Lautner?
My super pump for abduction is Taylor Lautner.
That's wild.
Explain yourself.
This is best Taylor, in my opinion. And Taylor's not good at acting. What Taylor is good at is stunts and fighting. We talked about this a couple of many Mondays ago. Taylor's
People
a punch
do that.
boy.
He's a punch boy.
Taylor's
That's
a
true.
punch boy. I am prepared to contest that Taylor Lautner is no worse of an actor than Vin Diesel.
Brother, I can agree with you on that.
Taylor Lautner is no worse an actor than Keanu in John Wick.
Oh, why are you hurting me on purpose?
It's just okay.
Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
So
I don't feel
worse,
like I
worse
have
is
to.
just being defined
I
as.
feel like the proof's in the pudding, baby.
Oh man, this is hard.
I think we expected a lot more from Taylor because he was in Twilight.
Nope. Let's play this game for a second.
No. If we remove Twilight from the equation, Taylor is a punching karate boy, and his movies are vehicles for his punching and karate. Set aside Twilight. Twilight is not the rule. Twilight's the exception.
I've never seen Run the Tide, but I bet you're going to be sorely disappointed next week.
Taylor is a karate boy. That is what he does. Taylor is a stunt and jump and flip boy, and that is what he does.
Okay,
You're just
here's what I'm
wrong.
going to do to try and separate it. And it's going to feel like a whiff, okay? Because I don't want this to happen. And I'm fighting hard against it. And it makes for a good podcast. If you're a fight boy, I think you have to be able to an extent, or at least enough, express legitimate anger. You have to make me feel like you're actually mad. Not like you stole my sandwich mad, but like my face is shaking, tears coming from my face, Keanu, like you killed my puppy mad.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, crying at the dog.
But yes, you're making so many good points right now.
So there are elements where I think Taylor does that. Another thing I really love about this movie is that it portrays Taylor as going through the psychological aftermath of watching his parents die and his home blow up. Like there are so
really?
many.
Because I feel like he's just trying to make out with eyebrows.
How
too.
many times do you see Jason Bourne crying about what's happening?
Jason Bourne has memory loss. Have you seen those movies?
I have seen this movie. How many times do you see any of these thrillers? any of
Jason
these
Bourne's a
characters-
trained killer.
Matt
any of these
Damon's won an
characters,
Oscar.
How often do you see them crying about what's happened? Because there are several
John
shots,
Wick and Vin Diesel both
several
cry.
shots of Taylor overwhelmed by emotion.
Don't do this. Here's the thing.
There's several shots where he's supposed to be overwhelmed by emotion.
There it is.
It worked for me.
If Taylor,
When
I'll
Okay.
give you Vin
It worked
Diesel.
for me.
I'll give you Vin. I can't give you Keanu,
Is
but I
Taylor
love
acting?
the point you're making.
is Taylor acting, or did they write a role that Taylor could be Taylor in?
Well, that's what they do for the other guys
no,
too.
hear me-
That's
no.
what they do for every punch boy.
Stop. Hear me. Listen. Answer the question. Which one is it?
I don't know that he's acting, but
Okay.
I also don't know that the other punch
But we would
punch
say
boys
that
are
Vin
acting.
and Keanu kind of did the same, right?
Yeah.
And I would say that Vin's performance in Fast and Furious was better, and Keanu's performance in John Wick was better, right?
I'll give you Keanu and John Wick. I don't know that Vin Diesel is any better.
He cried over Letty. That was good.
Taylor did a great job crying at his mom's grave. Like he doesn't deliver his lines well, but there is something about his performance that works for me in this one.
Okay.
I hear you.
I can't completely disagree because I think this is huge right now. Like this really is.
I full disagree, but I also hear where you're like, this is why it's hard for me. Like you picked the two people that I would say are like the exceptions to what you're saying and like are way better, like transcend this trope. Whereas like Taylor does not manage to rise above
Okay,
it
so
for me.
who's a punch boy that you respect that you would
I
say
don't
is not a
think
good
Vin
actor?
Diesel transcends.
Jason
the
Statham
trope.
is not a good actor.
Taylor's no better or worse than Jason Statham.
That I'll give you.
Okay.
That
just
I'll
what I'm
give you
saying.
easy.
Like he is no better or worse at acting than your archetypical punch boy, but he was placed in a role like Jacob Black where audiences hated the character
Yeah.
and where the role was too demanding for his very limited skill set. And he didn't get to be a punch boy because he had to handle all these emotional scenes.
And all the action stuff happened when he was a wolf.
Twilight is not the rule. Twilight is the exception for what Taylor is capable of.
Well, and it proves that we were right about casting Taylor just for his abs in Twilight.
Exactly.
He wasn't cast for any other reason.
No.
And that's why it was such a mistake.
The reason that you cast, I mean, it would generally be like casting Jason Statham as the lead in a romantic comedy, which actually would be kind of funny. But, you know, like he can't do that.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
And I'm not mad at him because he can't do that. But that's just not him.
Right.
He's a punch boy.
And I would agree with that if Taylor was going after like Transporter and Crank and all that kind of stuff. But instead, I think he wants to sell himself as an
I
actor.
think he
So
does.
do we
I
wanna
think there's
agree-
a slight pivot into a rebrand. That
So
needs to happen.
Twilight. So Jacob
I
Wolf.
just think it needs to be done.
Jacob Wolf is not Taylor's fault.
the
it's Twilight's
performance
fault.
is definitely Taylor's fault.
Well, okay. Guys, and really quickly, because this has been a wonderful conversation on Punch Boys, I think I might know the greatest Punch Boy alive right now.
Okay.
Or maybe he has his own genre. You tell me. Or he has his own category. Tom Hardy.
No, don't even put these in the
No,
same.
Tom
Yeah,
Hardy's
his
got
own
his own
category,
category.
certainly.
But he's doing both, right? Somehow
Right.
he's
I
like
would agree with that.
Punch Boy and
Warrior.
an acting
He's
boy.
Bane. He was in Mad
But
Max.
let me
he's
toss this
all
guy
these
out at
Punch
you.
Boys.
Tom Cruise.
Sure.
It's
Same thing.
Same thing as Tom Hardy for me. Is it Tom? Is Tom the magic thing?
Tom Hanks too.
No, because I'd put Chris Pine in that category.
I think I would too, and to a lesser extent, certainly. But like Tom Hardy and Tom Cruise, both guys that it's like when they're fighting in a movie, I always know it's going to look cool. I always know they're going to do a great job and it's going to look believable.
So they're like Hemsworths then?
But they're also maybe a little
Yeah,
bit
cool.
like that. But they also do have. I mean, Tom Hardy's like a top 3 actor of all time, maybe
Yeah,
number
yeah,
one
yeah.
for me. So like,
Well, that's what I'm
special place in my
saying.
heart
So
there.
maybe he's not a Punch Boy, but they're being used for a lot of the same stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Like there's a difference between being just cast because that's all you can do,
Yeah.
and being cast because you can pull that off. I guess.
I
There's
think
a
what we're
difference
talking
between
about is
being
when
Steven Seagal and being Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the difference comes from when the Taylor Lautners of the world managed to like have some real acting talent as
Yeah.
well.
Can you give a camp to Dwayne Johnson then? What side is he on?
I
I think he
he has natural charisma, but little
acting ability.
charisma.
I'd say that.
Okay.
I think
Cool,
he's
this
more
has
on
been
the
fun.
actual Punch Boy side of things.
I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
So my
Great
super-
points, Doge.
Super Pump is Taylor,
Sure.
the Punch Boy.
I think it's fair.
And I do want to take while I'm super pumping on him, part of that Super Pump is that the dude's got the most supportive family in the world. His dad is a producer on this movie. Like
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they moved from Grand Rapids, Michigan to LA because he wanted to act. Like,
Well,
here's the thing.
he's getting something out of that too.
I hate the art. I don't think that I hate the artist.
That's fair.
Okay.
The Two Chunks Instagram followed him recently. Seems like a genuinely kind of cool and fun dude. So
Yeah.
hate
Okay.
the art.
I
Hate the
think-
art. Don't hate the artist.
I'll take it.
I'd hang out with him. I would do it.
I'll take
say
it.
that. So we run away. We go to a safe house.
Kind of just various on the run hijinks. Like
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot.
Might need to spend time on the train though.
Yeah. So we run away, go to the safe house, find a gun. Don't take the gun with us for some reason. That feels weird.
But he's got a gun in the poster.
Right. And he has
I
a
guess it's
gun.
from the
He has a
game.
revolver later that we don't really know how he got, but that's not. It's not a revolver in the house. It's like a handgun. Anyway, they get on a train to run away. They're going to where?
Virginia,
Pittsburgh.
Is that right?
Virginia or Pittsburgh, one of the places. They're kind of going all over.
They're going
New England.
somewhere. They get up in that train, and Glasses Scaryman follows them onto the train.
Yep.
And Taylor and Eyebrows start to boot up Wii Sports.
They
They're
definitely start.
installing it.
Then
Yeah.
they decide they're too hungry to do Wii Sports.
Yeah, gotta go get some food.
That was the dramatic reading that I did as my intro into this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in case
gotta
you
go
noticed.
get some food. I'll knock twice when I come back. She's gone for too long, and Taylor's like, let me see what that's about.
Does that kind of thing happen though? Like, are the hormones going to be high enough that after like my life, I'm in the middle of my life being upside down. Is this just I need this because it's an aside to take my mind off of things?
Maybe.
You talking about food or Wii Sports?
Wii Sports.
I think it's that.
Is testosterone that strong? that it's
Honestly,
like
no.
I'm going to make out after my
I think
parents are
there's
killed.
no chance that I'm like. I think for me, I'm sitting on a train seat, staring off into the distance until we disembark. Like I
Right.
think I'm just like, oh gosh, this is terrible. But it's a young adult movie, so you got to get with the pretty girl.
Well,
you
that's
have
in
to.
that's in every kind of thriller like
Yeah,
this.
he's
Like,
right.
That's a trope in everything.
It is a trope for sure.
Which I think is why. Just back to Tom Hardy for 2 seconds. I think that's why Mad Max was so cool because it never went there,
Yeah.
and I love that.
Because
And there was
Furiosa's
plenty
the
of-
protagonist.
Right. And
Yeah.
so I think with the train and Mr. Glasses coming in and doing his thing, we get what I would call a serviceable fight scene
I think it's really good.
do
inside
too.
of this train car.
Yeah, fun setting. Good fight
Eyebrows
scene.
is
And I gotta say about
having an
Eyebrow,
owie.
well, I have to say for one so small, she seems so strong.
My arms will hold you.
That song was written for her, you know.
Was it really?
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
Very sweet.
I actually don't think she does that bad of a job.
I don't either.
I mean,
I think she expressed like fear
Yeah.
and sadness better than Taylor. So that's why I'm having
I
such a
think
hard
maybe
time
it's
of
'cause
you
her
having him
eyebrows
be
are so
there.
huge.
yeah, it's
Super
it's
pumped.
easy to see from a
Yeah.
distance, like stage
Exactly.
makeup.
Yeah.
But I think that like as far as what is expected of, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, but as far as what is expected of the female protagonist in a male-driven young
Yeah.
adult story,
In
she did
that,
fine.
That reduced role with no agency.
Yeah,
She does okay.
right. She does fine,
And she wasn't too much of a dame.
No, she really wasn't. In fact, she kind of she kind of, got a couple of licks in there later on.
Yeah. That's true. We throw homie out the train.
We do. And he's fine.
Mm-hmm.
He's just fine.
No, he died.
No, did he kick him to death?
I thought they were like out looking for him because he got up and was like, hey, wait, did he die?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think-
They
I
were
think
over
he-
his body.
He kicked him to death. And then he threw him out the window, and somebody else on the train was like, hey, I just saw a dude fly by a window. And then that's where they stopped.
And then they run by the train and nobody on the train is like, do you think the two people running away had anything to do with
Right.
that?
I would run straight
Yeah,
into the woods,
into the
not
woods.
along the train.
I agree. Go out, then along.
But that's okay.
But whatever. Just another example of bomb in the oven. Why are you doing this?
You got a bomb in the oven.
Got a bomb in the oven. So the next part's kind of a blur for me. Don't they just go to the Pirates game?
When does he go find the random blanket? What was that about?
No, that's
Just
when
to-
they first.
to cover them.
So they're mid run away, and then they're like, "But we should sleep on this wood floor."
So their whole deal, I mean, basically, I think it probably makes sense to just summarize it as they're on the run from Alfred Molina in the CIA, Dr. Octopus in the CIA,
Doc Ock.
who in this movie looks very much like Sam the Eagle, the Muppet.
Wow!
But they're on the run
Wow.
Oh,
like exactly like a person version of Sam.
Yeah.
But they're on the run from him and
That
the
was
CIA.
incredible.
And they have a list of encrypted names of people who've sold state secrets.
Spoiler: Alfred's on there.
and Alfred's on there, so they can't let him catch him. So
Oh, that's right. They get burgers with him.
they get burgers with him.
Burgers.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wasn't quite BK, but they had burgers. Good catch, man.
It wasn't a Burger King,
He is the.
but
Burger
Taylor
King.
is the Burger King. Exactly.
Oh dang! There it is.
We're learning a lot today.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
dang.
And then snipers take out his crew.
Who is the CIA?
Right. And then they bounce again, end up at the Pittsburgh Pirates game, got his friend's tickets.
Wait, before that, I have a great line.
Please.
Our main antagonist, don't remember his name,
Nathan.
but
Nope.
you know how he's
Antagonist,
revealing that
sorry.
he's been listening to their conversation
Yeah.
in the car.
Just say
Phone-
something Knopf, and it's
phone-
Crutchnoff is the
Phone
bad
can
guy.
be used as a listening device.
Yeah, he's like, cell phones can be turned into listening devices. And I was like, dude, that's half of a conversation. I know this.
That's like at least
that's what a
50%
phone
of their purpose.
does. This is very true. I can listen to you. Contrary to popular belief, you can listen to a cell phone. It's like trying to show how
Yeah.
smart they are.
Cell
So
phones.
ridiculous.
If
could
I
not-
dial the correct digits, I will contact
Can you tell now as you listen on the speaker to me?
Cell phones are
I
for your
also
ears.
am listening to
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Good.
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 With a pencil.
With a pencil.
It's the same guy.
John Wick, there's our connection. Pirates game. Got his
Yeah.
friend's tickets from the beginning.
love
Chekhov's
that.
tickets.
Love bringing that back.
Yeah, that was good. Not sure why that was where they decided to go.
He wanted to do it in public.
It's a public place.
Fair enough. So they're there. He stands up to let the lady buy him. Guy steals his gun.
Here's the thing,
Bada
though.
bang, bada boom.
So that seat would have been up.
Yeah. If he
That
was
gun
standing
would have
up.
been
Visible to
very
everyone.
visible.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
who says
then
you can't get stuff?
He breaks
you know?
free, does some parkour, slides down a big thing,
breaks his
breaks his leg.
Leg.
Like that he kept up the limp, was waiting for it
Yeah.
to disappear and it never did.
except
Did it switch feet?
the credit scenes switch feet.
Ah, dang.
Limps on the other leg, but it's fine. We love Taylor now, so
But we hear from Daddy. We hear
Yep.
from Daddy.
who is in
Dermot Mulroney.
my best friend's wedding?
And Dermot Mulroney is my super pump for this movie.
What?
I thought it was like such a cool guy to have as the dad. The whole movie, I was just like, who can be cool enough to be the dad? Who's going to be cooler than Jason Isaacs? Turns out it's Dermot Mulroney.
Yeah.
And the moment I heard his voice, I was like, oh, that's Fancy Man from New Girl. And then I was like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, he was
so
great.
shout out to Dermot, not even in the credits. Name does not even appear in the credits.
And here we are. My super dump is that his role is not bigger.
yeah,
That's a
it's
super
not
dump,
important
yeah.
at all.
That's
My
a dump
super
for sure.
dump. My super dump is that we don't get a moment of him and Nathan face to face.
It's dumb that they did that. And it's dumb that they've written Nathan to just be okay with not meeting. Like, that his dad's
Yeah.
like, it's better this way. And he's like, yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, that's my super dump is he's just okay with too much.
Yeah.
This is a life-changing, traumatic kind of thing.
He's rolling with the punches, but the punches are eternal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
That's rough. You're right. But still, man, I just love Dermot Mulroney. I think he's good in everything.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Did I super pump anything?
Probably not. You hate Taylor.
No, not as much anymore. But
I definitely don't love him.
they had some fun in the filming of this. I got to read a little bit more about. They actually filmed that chase scene during a Pittsburgh Pirates game.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's cool.
But then why didn't they have any HD footage of the game? Every time they showed the field, it was just like
Pretty
grainy
bad.
and terrible.
Yeah. And the players didn't line up when they would show them on the scoreboard, but that's fine. But that's my super pump is that they were kind of, I don't know, just after watching Shark Boy and Lava Girl, it seemed like there was more thought and less money put into this movie
I
than the
agree
other
with
one.
that.
And
Yeah.
so, like, props to that.
I agree with that.
It didn't seem too far. There weren't too many loose ends.
Getting adopted by the counselor handler is the single most young adult thing that happens
is.
in this movie.
It is.
Like that is the end of every young adult novel is like, and now I live with people that let me be myself.
And now I can go live with Sirius.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
really is that.
And then
Sigourney be like, my arms will hold you.
Sigourney's like,
I did my waiting 10 years. And I was correct.
very good, very good.
so if we're wrapping up the things that we have to say about this, I
Well, hold on. They
Okay.
do break back into the stadium after the game to go make out in the
Oh,
seats.
yeah, that's right. That's
Ooh,
right,
those
that's
lines were bad.
bad.
Gross. Ew.
He says something at the end that
He's
I
like,
should have written
now
down.
I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
Nope.
Yeah, not like it.
So now that we're done with our part, I have brought a guest with me.
Taylor,
onto our
he's
program.
back.
It's Taylor. Oh, speaking of Taylor, we forgot to do a motorcycle check. He's got one.
Oh, he has one.
He's
For
got
sure.
one. So that
Big
means
time.
thus far, this is our 7th Taylor Lautner film to watch.
Does he carry a lady? He never carries her, does he?
Does he?
If you count him having her straddling him and walking around.
That's true.
Yeah.
Or
Okay. We'll count that.
Technically, if you count her being a better actor than he is, she kind of carries him.
Also, did you catch all the times that he was just like vibing after like much younger women in this movie? Like
No.
there was like a 7-year-old. It was really creepy.
What?
He was like imprinting everywhere.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
But if there were 7, they would be full grown, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how the movie works.
Yeah.
So I
Twilight
brought a
can
guest.
die.
I brought a guest onto the program. It's a deep dive from IMDb.
Love it.
It's a review
I am deep B.
written on June 25th, 2012 by IMDb user Rawiri42.
Ooh.
Deep B.
And his review is titled, Before You Criticize, Let's See You Do Better. Well worth watching.
Dude, this is my least favorite kind of logic in the whole
Yep.
world.
So he says, I wasn't going to write a review for Abduction, mainly because I didn't feel like there was anything much to say. For me, the movie was fun and worth watching, but it wasn't exceptional, parentheses, either way. I should mention here that I always score the movies in my collection before looking at the IMDb average, and I must admit that Abduction did leave me a little unsure of what to give it. However, my ultimate criterion for the score I give is always primarily based on how I felt right after watching a film, rather than on a critical and clinical analysis of such nuts and bolts as the quality of the acting, direction, lighting, special effects, and so on.
What on
So
earth?
with that in mind, I gave Abduction a 7.1. And only then did I look at the IMDb rating of 4.6, and that, in turn, led me to look at the reviews already posted because I considered it to be overly harsh.
Guffaw.
Well, people,
Pshaw.
I can only assume that all of you who have slammed this film for poor direction, poor acting, and just about poor everything else are all Oscar-winning directors, producers, or actors
Okay,
yourselves.
I want to talk about this.
It is clearly obvious that you could have taken the original plot and written a
shut
better
up.
screenplay and then directed it with young lead actors and won another Oscar. Come on.
I want to talk about this. So this is I think this is dangerous. And I'll tell you why.
It's garbage.
I think that logic is atrocious because by that logic, if I eat a bad burger made by a world famous chef, I'm not allowed to say that it was gross because
Yep.
they're famous and they probably did it better than me.
Yep.
Or if I buy a car and I don't like that car. Well, I can't say anything because I don't know how to make a car. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That idea only ever applies to art, and it's just people's way of getting out of, I like something that other people don't like.
Yep.
That's the only thing that anyone ever applies it to. Oh, let's see you do better. I couldn't. They could. They're the professional.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yep.
That's what we're judging. We're not judging. It's not some fifth grader's like final. If a fifth grader made this movie, they would be a prodigy. If a full-blown adult
Like
makes
Racer
this movie,
Rodriguez.
they phoned it in. Yeah, like Racer. That kind of logic just drives me nuts.
So this IMDb user goes on to say, in
What?
particular, Jason Lautner is frequently vilified as being weak, ineffectual, and lots of other negative things.
Credibility
Jason
destroyed.
Lautner.
However, I would like to suggest that he played the part as scripted extremely well. He is supposed to be a timid teenager. People have compared him to Bond, Bourne, and goodness knows what other adult male superhero action figures. Why? He's a kid, a handsome one with a nice body, whose dad, unbeknownst to him at the time, is trying to prepare him for what will
Stop
possibly
going into the plot right
happen
now. If
later
they
in
read
his
the whole
life.
plot right now, I don't want to listen.
Do they think that Taylor is the character?
So he closes his review by saying, no, Abduction is not a blockbuster, but it is an attention-grabbing adventure that does what it sets out to do, entertain. So if you happen to be reading this before deciding to watch Abduction, please ignore all the knockers who, if I have said, would probably do a lot worse themselves, be it acting, directing, or writing. Don't expect the best action movie of the year, but just sit back and be entertained. By the way, I am not a teenager. Actually, I'm retired.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I'm reviewing every
With a
movie like
nice
this.
body.
I'm reviewing every movie like this for the rest of my life. Vin Diesel, I think he does okay, but man, the body on that guy.
What a nice body.
Oh, man.
Actually, I'm retired.
Retired
Wow.
also doesn't necessarily give you an age.
Yeah. That's true. That
I'm-
means that person's definitely a teenager.
I'm retired from my youth soccer team.
Yep. Yep.
So now that this IMDb user, Rawiri42, has reviewed this movie, should we add our voices to the conversation?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We here at Two Chunks and a Hunk have perfected the art of rating movies with the scientific cinema scale. That's right, science is back on the menu, boys.
Yeah.
Here's how that scale goes. The best thing we can ever say about a movie is own it, don't lend it, buy that poster. The next best thing is going to be buy it, followed by rent it, then stream it. After that, it's forget it. And last, but certainly least, the worst thing we can ever say about a movie. God hath forsaken us. I'll go first. I'm going to give this movie...
It's hard.
okay, I'm going to go with stream it. But I won't ever again. Let me explain myself. I don't think this is bad enough to be a forget it. I think that it's got enough bones there to be okay. I think it can stand up on two legs and not tip over immediately. And again, there's a part of me that's 14 and is like, yes, please, to this. If I never watch this movie again, I'll die fine. It's going to be okay. This movie is young adult slushy that just got dumped in with everything else, and it's all the same. And they just picked and chose parts that fit with young adult themes and said, here's our movie. And, you know, that's great. It's its own thing. There's a couple parts that were really cool, but for me, this movie is nothing more than okay, but it's not bad enough for me to say that culture is better if we forget it. So it's a stream it.
I think for me, and it's not as if I'm saying about the others, because I'm anticipating a pretty good review from Doge. It's not like I'm saying, don't listen to them because what do they know? It's like that was pulled from a Tarzan song, by the way.
Yeah.
I should have sung it.
Don't listen
to them.
What do they know?
What do they know? I am going to forget it.
Very different Phil
And
Collins.
it is not, it's really not my hate of Lautner here. I'm saying forget it because while it's kind of what Jordan said, I mean, it's just okay. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to recommend something that's not good or not bad to my friends.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever going to say,
It's not bad enough to be funny.
yeah. Not bad enough to be funny, not good enough. It's just like, and then there's not enough outside of Lautner, and I don't know too many of my friends that are Lautner fans, but outside of that, like, there's not even a person in there to be like, I'm not going to say, well, if you're a Sigourney Weaver fan,
If
you
you
should see
love Dermot Mulroney.
it. You know, and that kind of stuff.
You get
So
to look at his teeth in this.
I think it is a forget it for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I was almost there.
And I'm saying I have been enlightened a little bit more, mainly by Doge today. And this was great. And this is my hardened heart. You know, I'm like the Grinch at the end right now.
Oh, it grew 3 Taylors that day.
Not 3 Taylors yet. I don't even give it that much, but it's grown a Taylor.
I, Justin Aaron Dozier,
Oh, no.
give Abduction a rented.
That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
And I do so for the following reason.
He just talks about the whole movie again from start to finish.
So Jason Lautner plays a this movie is like the movie version of a Walgreens paperback novel.
Yeah. Yep.
It is fine.
You buy it on a road trip because you finished your other book.
I was about to say, I'll take this to the beach with me. I'll knock it out in an afternoon. It's not amazing, and it's nothing that I'm ever going to recommend to anybody else, but it's fun, and it's a great way to pass the time, and it's inoffensive, and it's just fine. So rent it.
It's good.
Fair enough.
I want to say that this is good in terms of the opening of my mind that has happened on this episode, because Run the Tide's got a chance now. Because I'm looking at him and
fully disagree.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
without assuming anything,
Sure.
Run the Tide
We know what happens when you assume.
has me here right at a pivotal. I'm like at the fork in the road, and it's going to be is there some full forgiveness here, or is it reverting back?
Wapner used confusion, and it was super effective.
Yes. Yes. Now, here's the other thing. Wow. Part of me wanted, instead of Run the Tide to do Tracers and just see if it was the exact same movie a second time.
I kind of want to watch it anyway,
I a
even
little
not
bit
for
do
our
too.
podcast.
I a little bit do too.
Nope.
It'd be very interesting. But make sure you tune in next week and join us for our 3rd and final installment.
Is it
of
the final?
Thanks a lot.
Is it the final, or do you guys want to see us watch
Please
Tracers?
stop.
Please text Carter.
No.
Let him know that you want him to watch Tracers.
We will be reviewing The Old Chestnut, Run the Tide. You know, the one everybody's heard of and likes.
None of us have seen it. None of us have seen.
I had never even heard
None
of
of us
it.
have seen a trailer.
Not
But
the first time Taylor's had facial hair.
Boys going in blind.
It does have something like a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh.
This could be a good
it's gonna be good.
one.
But make sure you tune in for that. We're really excited about it. And
I just hope he drives a motorcycle and carries a girl.
He's
because
going to.
Then that's a perfect bingo.
he's going to.
I bet it
It's a
happens.
blackout almost.
Yeah.
A Jacob blackout. Okay, this week I want us to sign off with what would have been a better title for this movie other than Abduction. Well, for 2 Chunks and a Hunk, I'm Jordan Wonders, and I would call this movie Evasion.
I'm Doge, and coming this fall, Jason Lautner is adopted.
And I'm Carter. John Kick.
Oh, come on. Benz.